Yeah, I mean, Poppy, Annie, Azir already taken off the board. So on the blue side here, when you're MKOI, what are you looking to lock in first?
Yeah, as we're joined here by Odoamne on this beautiful desk, I do think there are still these junglers in their mind. Like, I think Trundle is something that has been rising in popularity a lot, seems to be banned a lot on the red side. So I wonder if you want to secure your jungle early or if it's just this bot lane that they really want to hammer into.
Well, I feel like it's mostly the question comes in now is, are you still banning the OPs? Is Pantheon still going to be open? Because the moment the OPs are open, the draft goes a completely different trajectory. Rumble being banned, I'm expecting the Pantheon ban now, and we just have a little bit more of a standard draft the way Finn was predicting.
Yeah, and without the Varus and Yunara ADCs, I feel like it's not a clear ADC pick that you really want to first pick and highlight, so you can kind of go whatever direction that you want to go in. And I think for MKOI, trying to get counter pick on ADC is definitely a good idea, and especially on support as well. And just going for more like a topside heavy first rotation.
Talia already been taken out. I think a little bit about the Yone a lot, because I think it's one of Jojopyun's best champion. On the Galio game 1, sure, he had some good ults, but I feel like it was quite a bit of a quiet game from him. The Pantheon, as you highlighted, Odoamne, is one of those power picks that are still up and available, and it will be secured early by Elyoya, something that he can really make use of on the map with that semi-global ult. He can really try to impact most lanes, because the lanes do seem really volatile right now.
Is that going to cause the change that we're looking for when it comes to actually having a little bit more focus on the bot lane?
Well, definitely, because it's point and click stun, you know, a lot of damage. At the same time, we still have a lot of melee supports in. It's easy to start fights. I'm still predicting a lot of action around bot lane.
I was not expecting the Kai'Sa just blind pick like that, but it has been one of Upset's favorites, and that also really highlights the engaged support that's probably going to come in for Fnatic here. And the Fnatic, they just want to fight.
I mean, game 1 of Fnatic, they won, they drafted dive, and it worked. Maybe now, this game 2, they want to go another dive comp. I feel like the Kai'Sa, maybe the Vi, something like this could be something that you want to lean into, because it seemed to be they were playing game 1, and it really did work out.
The Gwen coming in okay.
Kind of two double Corki blind picks here, I feel like.
I don't really feel like the Gwen is really that cocky, because I don't really see a lot of champions they can be dealing with. And maybe I'm looking at stuff like Renekton, it's a little bit more basic, but she does have a lot of value in the swaps.
Don't you think that Myrwn, though, would be the type of guy to play some weird-ass range champ into it and punish it that way?
Well, yeah, but the thing is, if you go this weird-ass range champion, then the swap just happens at like at minute 4, and then the Gwen presses W, and she's immune, and then, you know, everyone
cries. It's a call into Gwen. It's a classic of Myrwn.
Well, but that's the thing, like, if I'm Fnatic and I know that Myrwn is a complete psychopath, that he just wants to counter-pick me and play the funny champions, I'm really not picking it so early. But I guess at the same time, there was also the question, would MKOI just go for the Gwen themselves, and then you have this sort of impossible situation where you don't really have a good answer into it. But I do like what MKOI is cooking, but I really want to see how are they rounding it up.
I mean, this is a scary topside for MKOI here. These are the three
It's scary for both teams, to be honest. Well, okay, never mind. Now it's a little bit more normal, because if you had Akali, Yone, Pantheon, I'm scared even if I'm playing it, you know? Because
there's a lot of variance in that draft, yeah.
Okay.
A little bit of Tristana locked in. I assume that's going to go mid, but it could also be AD carry into the Kai'Sa.
I think ADC into Kai'Sa. Yeah, I quite like the matchup, and especially if they end up going the Vi as well. It's just really easy to survive those bot ganks. You have a lot of safety while also having the all-in threat. And overall, just kind of an underrated ADC.
Yeah, and I also do think about this top lane matchup, at least for the Akali, you don't really need to put a lot of resources into the Akali. Yeah. She's kind of self-sufficient in that lane. She will just be slowly winning out against the Gwen, and it allows Elyoya to have a little bit more free time to secure Jojopyun and for sure help Supa and Alvaro more, because that seems to be the battlefield this series, and that's really where you gotta hone in.
Yeah, I'm looking at top lane. I feel like it's gonna bleed out slowly, so I'm predicting a little bit of a swap action, a little bit non-interactive in that sense. But right now, it's all about what's getting banned in this 4-5, because we are in the situation where the melee supports are still open. They're both dropping to 4-5. Fnatic can close the door or make sure that Mikyx is having a great champion, because I think that a lot of Fnatic's power will come from the support counter pick.
Yeah, I think you're just looking for Nautilus on 4 here.
Maybe
with the
Alistar
ban
as well.
Yeah, Nautilus, Alistar. Even Leona is like kind of the last one you'd go for, I think, as the Nautilus gets banned out here. And both bot lanes have such like explosive trades. I can't wait to see what both Razork and Elyoya can cook here.
Yeah, but it's also going to be careful here for MKOI. If you ban too many of the engaged supports, you might not get one of them yourself, so you kind of have to go for that Enchanter, or something like a Neeko is still up and available, something that has been powerful for both of these teams. I think both Alvaro and Mikyx being great on that champion. I would like to see it get picked here.
We might see a handshake here in the bottom lane, because right now with Alistar and Neeko, they both feel the same type of champion that they're looking for, this sort of, you know, frontline engage, utility kind of support. So now everything is decided by this, because you do run the risk that if you ban the Alistar, you're getting last pick there. Exactly, they're probably going to handshake the Alistar for the Neeko or something along those lines.
Interesting that they decided to ban the Aphelios, thinking that Tristana is still a flex. But as you said, they were going to get that Neeko and probably just Alistar too.
I mean, technically you could counterpick your bot lane full here. If you want to go for something crazy like a Caitlyn lane, I doubt it's going to happen, or like a Jinx lane, like a Jinx Fresh. I don't know how that matchup goes, but you have the option to put the Tristana mid is what I'm trying to highlight.
Yeah.
And they could, in theory, go for a double counterpick here.
The thing is, you really need then an ADC that either like you have something like the Thresh that saves you from this dive comp, or you have an ADC that's also self-sufficient.
Like
but
an Estral?
Yeah, Estral is kind of the only one left after Tristana, Saya, and Sivir are all out.
The thing is, if you would go in that route, it would also wouldn't really make sense because you don't have the front line to support those champions. So I do think that even though the Alistar into the Neeko doesn't really make a lot of sense in terms of power because you had the free counter pick, you do have to save the team comp because a lot of power does come from this Yone in the mid lane, does come from this Akali in the top lane. So I do think it's one of those necessary evils.
Is this MKOI's composition going to be enough to negate the damage, or just the focus that we're going to see from Razork on the bot lane either way?
Oh man, I mean, this composition is a bloodbath from both sides. It's, you know, usually we look at these comps and we're like, oh wow, they're gonna front to back at an objective. These guys are gonna fist fight like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing side, left, upright, and center in these objective fights. They're gonna try to play from so many different angles, and Alvaro is gonna flank, Myrwn is gonna flank, and Elyoya might join the flank with his ult. I think there's gonna be very creative maneuvers around these objectives that they really have to pay attention to.
But the really cool part about this is that I feel like this is one of those games where the early game actually matters. I feel like the first 5-10 minutes are very, very important for either side, because I do feel like if you know whichever team gets the lead here can dictate the pace for the rest of the game.
I mean, I love the MKOI draft. I think that top side as an ADC, super scary. They're gonna take it.
I mean, we did say it was gonna be Brain versus Brawn, but it feels like at this time both teams just want to go at it in the second game of this series, where Fnatic so far is finding themselves in the lead. Can MKOI equalize it? Let's find out with our casters, Hysterics and Dagda.
They are interesting drafts, and I like that, you know, Jack kind of spoke like the top side looks insane for MKOI, and especially since it's very innovative. It's not your usual responses to something like the Gwen, right? Where you'd expect the Jax or the Renekton. This feels like, again, it's just playing on the fact that Myrwn has such an interesting champion pool.
Yeah, and he said in interviews, hey, look, I think it was with Cheap Esports where it was, I'm getting the practice in the Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai's going to be good. Maybe I'll bring out the Akali, and we're already seeing it here in game number 2. And it's a good answer into the Gwen. And I think Odo said it right. Like, both these teams can blow open this game and completely run away with it. And after the last game we just had, I think we're down for a banger early game once more, and it's going to be on Elyoya to try and contain Razork better than he could in game number 1.
Man, Elyoya had a couple of good fits and fights, and after that it was just unfortunate that Fnatic just found these angles. I mean, I think the biggest thing was that, again, those AD carries started scaling, and the longer they could have uptime, the better it was. But Oscar was obviously the highlight as well, like some of the big explosive plays of game 1 on his Aurora. We are hoping for something similar in game 2 because he has taken Ignite TP. There is no flash on the Gwen here. Vi is great here. That is a bit NPC. Vi is great in a lot of comps. Jojo's signature pick, that is true. Now I'm just roasting Twitch chatters. 3-0 incoming from Berlin Ghoul. Well, hang on a minute. All right, hang on a minute. No way Fnatic, that guy cursed it. Some of the people that type in chat, you don't expect to come up on stream, but we're going to roast you. Like that Ben's guy from last week, he never got back to us.
I will say, I don't think the idea was to put this in so we could roast Twitch chat. I think it was to more incorporate them into the...
I was not in that meeting.
I don't think it was...
No, I will roast them, you know. You've got to give me something back. A quick highlight as we look at the 2v2, which Jack was very interested in. They're just going to play for maximum authority as Alistar does what he does at level 1.
But look at where Elyoya is. He's gone from Raptors, Red, into Krugs. I think he's immediately going to try and make his way in towards his bottom side for a level 3 gank and see if he can beat Razork to the punch into this bottom lane.
That makes sense, right? And he's going to clear incredibly quick. He'll have the health to regain too. Razork, 3-camp topside. Is he going for Raptors? He's on a ward. He starts it off. I mean, they get pulled. All someone has to do is move and see. Is anyone scouting this area right now? There's no pings yet.
No, once the thing disappears, he should go. But Elyoya, not confident that he could actually make the play on the bottom side.
Right.
So he's going to be a little bit slower and going towards his top side just because you end up walking the whole way to bot to then come the whole way back up. But I know he's actually just going to go for an evade here. So dodging around the vision.
Okay. Well, while we wonder what showering situation's happening with one of our co-streamers, we're going to find out if Elyoya is going to stink out the bottom lane himself. He is spotted, you're right. Upset and Mikyx are just moving back, and with the tangle bars, it's so easy. They just pull back. The wave right now, it's okay. It'll bounce back. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's set Elyoya behind quite a bit. You can see he's only cleared 3 camps, whereas Razork is about to finish his entire clear. So now going to start to move in mid, hoping maybe he can find something, but it's going to need the Q3 from Jojo.
Yeah, if he gets a gank here, it's massive. Onto Poby, but he Valkyries away. Not too much taken. Jojo going to walk up, and he gets a bit of damage down himself. Poby with autos is enough to trade even, but for now, Elyoya is going to go up and do his topside camps.
Yeah, but Razork is on this bottom side, and the wave hasn't been crashed, so Fnatic now with the opportunity to set up a nice little freeze for themselves, which it looks like they're going to do just that. So this game plan for MKOI in the early stage is not quite working out, thanks to that early ward spotting out Elyoya from Fnatic.
So he just goes back to Scuttle instead, but if we want to use the fancy word tempo, it's definitely up in Razork's favor as he's been most efficient with his camps. Elyoya on his Gromp for now, he'll then move to Krugs, then, or Raptors, excuse me, or Wolves, let's try again. Then it's Scuttle timers. Alvaro going to face check here. Razork's still around. Good pop away. Mikyx, a sidestep from Alvaro that stops his Tangle Barbs. A necessity, because Alvaro could have been in serious trouble.
A great sidestep from Alvaro, salvages the play, but also stops the reset from Razork. So Razork now going to try and just invade on towards this Raptors respawn, which is nice timing, because you can see Elyoya wants to try and match the Scuttle Crab. Alvaro now going to spot it that this was taken, so it may just be... Oh, hang on. Yeah, just Razork going to stay to 1. And look, Elyoya going to move in towards his top side to try and take away the Krugs on the opposite end.
And it's something you were talking about earlier, where the vision focused on top side was also mirrored on bot as Exhaust put down. Supa, he's going to be hit a couple of times, upset. It's fun to take Exhaust in this matchup, but against Tristana, when it's so much on the satchel burst, and I'm sure, you know, Jackspectra would tell us, it seems like a smart take in this 2v2, you know?
That was definitely because I was Irish. That one was...
No, that wasn't because of you. It's just because with Jack, I just figured, you know, that's only the name I can go towards. I struggle with everything else.
So though, nice job from Elyoya. So you don't get all the camp for Razork on that bottom side, whereas Elyoya does get the full camp. So at least gets a little bit of a gold lead for himself, a bit of an experience lead, and should be able to now pick up a decent chunk on his bottom side. But we'll have to see how, again, because Elyoya has made it very clear he wants to try and impact this bottom lane.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if it's just Krugs into an immediate play, whereas Razork is now mid.
Jojo has flash available. It's all about timing here. Tries to get another Q. I think he's on a second stack, and Razork coming in, the flash. Okay, it's Jojo comes out first, but with the Gatling gun, Poby is close to a kill. Flashes into range, auto attack, and there it is, secured. Poby on the board first.
Again, Razork getting that first blood now for Fnatic, making that play towards the mid lane, and Jojo, the wave just in an awkward spot for him where he needed to try and get it crushed, but just couldn't do so.
It's a good day to be Razork. He's not even focusing on bot yet, but here he comes again. Elyoya in the spirits nearby. And engage, it's great. Mickey out of mana, flashing away. The jump from Supa. He doesn't get a reset, that Razork's there. However, Supa must have got the last auto. No second instinct or second skin as Alvaro runs for his life. Lethal tempo in full effect. MKOI's bot lane gets out, if only just.
Great cover again from Razork. Elyoya trying to do exactly what we're saying. Go for the Krugs, immediately look for the play on bottom lane, and Alvaro thought he might have been able to make the play, but TP swap from Alvaro, and now the play on the bottom lane, they want to go for more.
They do indeed. Elyoya is coming in. He's spotted by Scrying Waters. Razork is not coming in. He went to Gromp. Good Tangle Barbs. And Fnatic just walk it out in that play. I'm surprised Supa got the last auto because that was so damn close.
Yeah, but Alvaro with the TP able to hold the wave here, so you don't actually end up losing out on a huge amount for MKOI.
Yeah.
Myrwn now with the swap onto the bottom lane, and Supa actually going to get that first rotation up towards the top side, but you can see in the experience, it's about a half a level for upset thanks to all these plays that have been happening on the bottom end of the map, which is very nice for the Fnatic side.
Look at where Oscar is though. He didn't actually TP to bot. He didn't have it. Needlework is out onto Alvaro. Doesn't have his own ultimate. Oscarinin's going to follow this up with a snip again. This guy in the most nuisance of places is Elyoya is hit by Razork. A fist to the face while Poby and Jojo are floating it down the mid lane, so Jojo can't join in. Poby winning it out ever so slightly as now Mikyx involved. 4 members of Fnatic sitting around mid lane. They're getting busy.
They're trying everything that they can, but again, it's Fnatic kind of pushing back MKOI. This has been a barn burner. Like, the fact we're getting this much action constantly is crazy that we've only had a single kill thus far.
And I've never been in a barn, Dagda, but I assume this is how it would happen.
In a barn.
Oh, okay. I've been to that barn. It wasn't really a barn. It was too fancy of a barn. I'm talking hay, horses, cows, milk, everything. Like, that's what happens in barns. I've never been in one of those experiences. Is it an Irish thing or?
Yeah, we'll get you. We'll have a great time.
An Irish barn. Who knows what happens in those? Well, I'm looking forward to it. If it's anything like this game, I'm happy to experience it 10 times over because, as you said, the early game's been good. I think the best part about this early game, while it's not been super explosive for kills, it's just been on like a knife's edge for some of these trades. And It's definitely been about getting to the 6 burst as well, which, by the way, Upset now has. Razork now has his in top side as well. Elyoya also here and can hit on a moment's notice.
Jojo was denied the reset though by Poby's rocket, so Fnatic immediately going to move over towards this, and I don't really think you're in a position to contest for this. Mikyx very close to level 6 as well if he can get one more wave, but I think this objective should be gone before it's taken, and potentially you can use that level advantage on the supports to guarantee the dragon as well on this next rotation for Fnatic.
You'd hope so, because if Fnatic keep up with this tempo like game 1, then it could mean that those grubs enable so much pushing power. With Gwen, always feels nice. Just the little things, I think, in life. Oscar, that was weird. If Spectator, whatever that was. I don't know if he got that minion or not, but Oscar is down massively. That roam had cost. Like, he is 25 CS down to Myrwn, so while we are glazing him a little bit, there is a bigger cost in this second game for his interaction with the map.
Yeah, it was basically a trade-off of... Ooh, hang on.
And now, Elyoya is here as well. Oscar's in a bit of bad luck. With the perfect execution, Myrwn right on top of him, sends it out. The 5-point strike fans him down into the ground.
Big win for MKOI. We just said, look, you're going to have this little advantage for Mikyx. Maybe Fnatic can use it. And they will look to try and burn it in the top side as Elyoya was put on the bot lane.
Razork with that ulti, ready to pull the trigger. Big wave coming in, or at least 1.5 times. Alvaro sticks around without ulti. Supa, level 6 now as well. He can buster shot someone away. Great buffer on the Vi. Supa gets out, and Fnatic run away too.
Yeah, Elyoya able to reset and get in towards his top side, so Fnatic not feeling comfortable enough to continue the chase down. And Supa will be able to get the majority of the wave as well here, so it's not any answer for Fnatic for a nice kill from MKOI in the bot lane.
I think the fact that, you know, when Zai is down and Vi is just available, this shows that MKOI very innovative with their drafts as well. Like, seeing that buffer, that's another thing you got to think about. It's like, well, is the Vi going to actually ult Tristana this game? Because if Rocket jumps up and available, he can just keep doing that, and that's a big ult down.
Yeah, and that's the reason why you take the Tristana in this situation. It just makes it very, very difficult to try and do it. I mean, we saw a hell of a lot of it last year from Caps at MSI.
I remember.
And now we just have to see if Supa can try and keep himself safe. And that was kind of the point, right? It limits the champion pools that MKOI can, or sorry, the champions that Fnatic can try and go for on MKOI. I think it'll be more Myrwn that they try and focus with it in the future.
Jojo hits Poby. Poby hits back. That's how mid has been so far. And opposites attract. Disco Yone is going to back off, and while Jojo has TP to match this, you've got to remember that that dragon still sits up. No one's touched it so far. It was the grubs, but it was no MKOI trade to bot. Fnatic didn't reset and then look directly towards that objective. Been very lane focused here, Dagda. And again, when early game matters so much, as they said on desk, and as you also reiterated, it is Fnatic right now sitting with a 700 just about gold lead, 600 to be frank. 400. It's going up and down. Look at this. Look at the map. It's still their lead from lane.
I think the main focuses are going to be Myrwn picking up the early waves, which gave them the massive advantage over Oscarinin.
That is a big lead.
And now the kill means that MKOI have a very strong side laner that they can try and play through. On the counterpoint, though, Poby's been doing a great job in the mid lane, having a lot of support from Fnatic, and these early armor boots has made it very difficult for Jojo to really get full value in this mid lane. And Upset has actually managed to sneak a little bit of that extra gold too. So it's kind of this double AD carries on Fnatic trying to step up, whereas it's going to be MKOI hoping Myrwn can assassinate one of them in these fights.
Myrwn, he's got a grudge after game 1. We are definitely building up for a very big top lane series. If Oscar's able to deliver, and if Myrwn's able to have this kind of lane performance and translate that into a big mid game, then we've got a lot to speak about for those two guys. Note that teleports up and available right now consist of Myrwn only. I'm looking across the board. Supports have Unsealed Spellbook. Well, actually only Alvaro does, so that could be another. But regardless, Myrwn has the advantage there if we start talking about how they can move across map. But for now, extended lanes, mid lane is a top, bot lane is a mid, top lane is a bot. It's just a party and everyone's invited. Go pick your lane.
Yeah, no, you always go for Dragon. The push that Myrwn has on the bottom side and the push you have with Supa in the mid lane, they're feeling comfortable enough to try and go for this play, and there's not really a response from Fnatic. They're trying to go for Jojo, but look where Alvaro is. Reading this really well to make sure that he's in a position to cover for this dive.
Alvaro at 6 as well. A bit more longevity if he can go for the anti-dive. Jojo gets poked out, and then some of the range that comes from Mikyx and Poby as Dragon goes to MKOI. Okay, opening objective is good. However, delayed. And it gives them a bit of slow resist and bonus move speed. That's kind of nice. Especially when they have a lot of dive, a lot of committal that wants to send it.
Yeah, a lot of defensive vision for MKOI to try and spot out exactly where Razork is. You can kind of see it on the minimap. Like, we've got a ton invested all across here. We've got this one here to make sure you're fine on the bottom side. And even if you try and enter in towards his top side, there's more vision there as well. And it's kind of making it difficult for Razork to really make any of these plays, because every time he tries to step into a position, he's getting spotted by MKOI. And I think this is the adaptation that they needed to just enable their side laners to continue to scale into the later portion.
And it's ever relevant now because that bot wave has now just been unfrozen. It's a slow push from Oscarinin, so as that wave pushes out, if Oscar tries to come in and set up for something like a dive or a recurrence of something in bot, then Elyoya has perfect vision to make the counterplay as well. That vision now taken away as Razork just going up through river, and Mickey trying to find an angle for a gank. I think that cannon minion is done. Pop Blossom on the Supa, okay. Mickey, that one was a little bit much, you know?
Look, it was an ult. Supa ended up throwing it, you know, it was a zoning ultimate.
Yeah, okay.
What a...
Go again.
Supa.
He did get Tangle Barbs down. Alvaro's here. He just Boba's a little bit and walks away.
Yeah, still though, like, I think these are the moments whenever like you spot Razork on vision like we saw on bot side, this is where everyone's on Fnatic, their hairs have to go up on their neck, because Elyoya could be anywhere at any point in time thanks to this ultimate. And if you're Poby, you can't really overextend this top side because you will get chased down very easily thanks to this duo and MKOI. And it's kind of a similar story for Oscarinin. We already saw how quickly he could fall to Myrwn and Elyoya.
Yeah, Poby's going to have a bit of rough time. Like, he might be ahead, but there's a lot of chase. There's a lot of instant gap close. It's very hard to react to. So Poby's flash is going to have a lot of relevancy in this game. I think Poby's going to have a very relevant game if he can play well. Jojo also on his Yone side note. I mean, he might be down in gold, but he's about to pick up his Blade of the Ruined King. And he's been stuck in the weak side of the map consistently in this game. His Yone, though, historically in the LEC has been great this year. As we're going to start a fight in the meantime. Razork bumps away with Elyoya. And that Yone I was talking about, almost level 11, is trying to contribute something here before he gets his first item.
It's only really Jackies and Jojo that continue to take this pick and really shine on it. And I think it has become a bit more synonymous with Jojo because he has had spectacular games on it. And once he gets that later portion of the game, he's going to be so deadly, as you already alluded to. But at the moment, the Riptail there, no team really feeling confident enough to take that fight. No, Poby just out of range.
He shakes his butt at him. Okay, nicely done. Poby, 1.6k gold lead thanks to the turret as well. And while I was talking up Jojo's Yone, I mean, that counterplay, that sneaky play from Fnatic was interesting. Sure, flip taken onto Oscarinin, and there we go. The all-out's going to be a perfect execution. Myrwn at max range! Solo bolo! Now, Razork's going to bring it back in. Poby's going to teleport in. He misses, though, and Myrwn is going to die in the end. But it requires a TP from Poby.
A full commitment bot means that MKOI would just go towards the Rift Herald. Myrwn trades 1-for-1 off the back of it, and MKOI going to be very happy with that. With the fact that, again, Myrwn just styling on Oscarinin.
Good Tangle Barbs. Mickey trying to get in the thick of what's happening over at Herald. Alvaro has to heal up after getting chunked out a bit, but a Herald over to MKOI. I think that's worth in the end as we look at Myrwn take this off.
This was just very greedy from Oscarinin going for the trade, but
in trouble. Pop Blossom this time. It connects before the ulti. Supa's got no mana, but he's got lethal tempo running away. Upset has the ulti as well, and his killer instinct now down as Elyoya flies in with a spear. A little bit late there from Yo-Yo, but as he gets on in, at least he's here. However, in the meantime, bot turret is being chunked away by Poby.
Yeah, Poby has kind of been the benefactor of a bit of the madness for Fnatic. 1.7k, well, 1.6k gold lead now for himself because he's been getting the CS and kind of getting a lot of these turret plates, thanks to Mickey and Razork kind of focusing on. But Myrwn is still a massive threat, and it really is going to come down to how much value you can get as Elyoya. Might be caught out here.
He might indeed. He went into Mickey and he gets baited in, flashes over the red wall. He's now out and he's going to keep clearing his jungle camps, but again, Fnatic are just so proactive, and MKOI, while we're glazing them for the cross-map play, this overcommitment from Poby is now turned into a good thing with the push, with a return that's going to probably get into a mana Myrwn.
But it's also just the amount of vision you've now got on this bottom side for Fnatic because of it. So I think they're going to be very happy with it, but we're going to get the replay here of, again, like you overextended for just a little bit to try and set that up to get the flower, and it means that then immediately you get the TP in to cover.
Oh, Myrwn in the end gets clapped around a little bit. Good boy!
Oh, wow.
Covering your... Now, maybe we censored that. Covering your top, okay. Alvaro is here, good boy too. Well, he flashes away. And the pet cow is now out of there, but Supa getting ganked again. Oscarinin and Elyoya beefing around a little bit, but Oscar doesn't mind that too much. The Gwen absorbs and Fnatic move back around mid. Note the dragon is up. And because of that vision you're talking about before the replay, Dagda, Fnatic have all the coverage in the world towards bot, while Myrwn doesn't have grubs, and he's Akali's foot pushing a lane.
And there's not an answer. Elyoya has the opportunity to cover for him in that top side if you want to. Jojo getting a little bit of heat from Poby, actually. So with that trade, maybe there is going to be an answer back from Fnatic on this bottom side. Jojo with Alvaro, going to see if they can catch Razork.
Razork, is it greedy? He went back in. Jojo's going to whop him for a little bit. Remember, Blade of the Current Ruin King now picked up, so Jojo gets a knockout. Razork with Redemption at half HP, but Poby gets bot turret because they lured Jojo away with the invade, and Razork tries again.
There is a Raptor moving towards the top side, though, Hysterics, so we need to be careful.
Bird chicken. Let's
he can
go.
flash over the wall here, has the heal.
He can. That is the most conspicuous chicken. Oscar, the bait, it won't work out. He's dead. Myrwn gets ignited, and he's running for his life. Mikyx doesn't have a flash. A shuriken flip out, and Myrwn call him a good boy again.
The plays from Myrwn coming out for Razork has the ultimate, but there's the Elyoya.
Elyoya here to save the day. What a superhero. Elyoya, as he flies in, is still on the hunt. Razork gets the chilling spike for the slow. Needs the vault breaker out. Sidestep is nice, but in the way is Jojo. The knock up, the knock down. Movistar KOI continue to surprise, but now Alvaro is caught out with an unbreakable will. He too will die, and we walk into the thick of it here with Fnatic getting one to leverage us out.
What is going on? Everyone's fighting everywhere on the map, and now Mickey pretending to be a dead Razork.
Gets Tangle Barbs in. Mickey's going to find him. The ult used onto Upset instead because Mickey doesn't have his own ult. Very smart ult from Supa, keeps him alive.
I wasn't sure if Upset just wanted to commit, but with the barrier for Supa, doesn't want to overextend. Still though, MKOI get the play on top, getting some gold in towards Jojo, which is much needed, but now Oscarinen's here.
Okay.
Does he have the support? I don't think so.
Can Oscar deal with it? That's a Rod of Ages Gwen.
And it's a level 11 versus a level 13 Yone. So again, this is kind of where it's all starting to come back. Yeah.
We're scaling.
Yeah, well look, I think the Rod of Ages is basically because of the matchup. Myrwn is in a great spot. He's going to be able to burst you out. And essentially your goal is to try and survive on the front line for Oscarinin. The big problem though is that he's now 2 levels down as he's about to tick over to level 12 on Myrwn. A level and a half down on Jojopyun. And you're just in a position where you just can't really follow onto anything.
I'm just looking at solo queue. I do not see Rod of Ages Gwen anywhere. We can talk about that a little bit later because in this solo queue, you talk about being tanky. For now, it's not enough because Myrwn is so far ahead. And he's also styling a bit in this game to equal up the top lane ego trade. Oh, Alvaro caught out again, but his knockup might have set something up. Upset almost there for the Pop Blossom. It's a 2-man. It'll take down Jungle as well. Elyoya has to bring back the fight. Mikyx kiting away. He gets through from Myrwn. Poby here to save the day. Jojo ulties into thin air, but he finds it with a flash in the end. Movistar KOI trying to bring the fight back as the knockouts galore from the Herald. Myrwn found his own CC, but as he runs out of the Herald, he goes back in to die. Fnatic were born in this silliness. Movistar KOI have to step it up.
It is everywhere, everything, all at once. And
oh my god, the beef 2-for-1 special.
Yeah, like Alvaro getting caught out, and it just looks like MKOI scramble to try and make the fight happen. We get to see now as we come out of the replay. So on a pink, doesn't realize everyone's there. They immediately turn onto the cow. The inconspicuous Raptor coming through as well. But the ultimate from Mickey actually keeps Myrwn out of the play, which buys the space for Fnatic to try and retreat into the backline. The fact Mickey survived for so long is absolutely insane as well. But then as the Akali goes in, tries to use the knockup to save Elyoya, but only ends up putting himself in danger as Myrwn then gets focused down by Fnatic. But yeah, I think the fact that Jojo ended up using his ultimate to try and get onto Mickey means that he's not able to follow up on the play, and maybe that could have changed some things for MKOI. Now, we're going to do it again.
This is where they lost a lot of their gold in game 1. Fnatic made a big error around Outacam, but they're healthier this time. Teleport from Poby as well, and Dagda. I see a Gwynsu's on a Kai'Sa. Fnatic ready to turn.
Yeah, but the TP now from Myrwn has that ultimate up and available. Fnatic, can they just go through this? He's so close to being available for upset.
All it takes is perfect execution, a clone use. Mickey getting in. There's the ult from Elyoya. He joins the fray at 5k. Myrwn over the wall. The level 14 Akali. As Atakan's going to reset, fishing over a wall. Weirdly enough, onto Oscar. Myrwn, great damage.
So much damage.
And Oscar's sent packing.
And now that's just the setup for MKOI. Oscarinin has to go, and Fnatic have given up their position on this objective. MKOI are going to just try and burst it down. Razork has been zoned away by Myrwn.
If Oscar TPs, you know that Fnatic want to go back in. At 8k, there's still time.
The TP in mind.
Oi, Razork though ran into Fog of War. He has to bring out the Assault and Battery. Meanwhile though, the Pop Blossom's great, but Mikyx is a wedge too far. Down he will go as well. Redemption heals up Movistar KOI. Jojo with a whip. Upset ults the backline, but into a Pantheon. I don't think so, champ. Supa Goomba stomps in for a 1-up. Meanwhile, the knockup's galore on Oscarinin. He can't move for the time being, and Fnatic are dying one by one to the movie stars of the screen.
It's the second game in a row Fnatic have gone towards this objective.
They don't
and
learn.
the second game in a row that has come back to bite them. So much gold in MKOI's favor, the Dragon as well, and all of this off the back of Myrwn getting on towards Razork, and understand if I can just burst him down, this objective is ours. Oscarinin, too late by the time everything comes through, and Upset tries to salvage the play, but immediately Elyoya flashing onto the AD carry to make sure there was nothing that could go wrong for MKOI off the back of this.
And they're so split that for MKOI, how easy it was to pick them all up. Poby stands there and watches his team burn. MKOI, now, how do they keep moving this pace forward? Because it's a different game state to game one, right? 2 Dragon, 4K gold lead, and Akali, who is destroying Oscarinin. And after game one, I think Myrwn said, just hold my beard, hold my hair, doesn't matter, hold whatever you want, because bro, I'm styling.
A lot of this should be Fnatic setting up an objective, taking their pick of who they want to try and burst out, which in this case should be Myrwn, and then dumping all of their cooldowns into them and saying we can carry the fight afterwards. But every time it's been, well, every time is one time, they've actually tried to set up on the bottom side, and they've just ceded so much control from MKOI.
Yeah.
And then Myrwn just sets up in the bush and is like, well, I'm denying everyone access to this because I will one-shot whoever steps forward.
And at level 16 as well, I mean, this is going to be a triumphant Myrwn game too. Like, he's got Leandre, he's a bit of health tank himself. He's also going to have a Zhonya's Hourglass, so he'll be able to jump in and make it that much harder to be able to cohesively find a moment in the fight. Fnatic are in dire straits in this game, but Movistar KOI, 2 games in a row around Atakan, their positioning, their decision-making has been great. And I think we've got to really highlight that this team on blue side this game, they have been formidable foes, and even more so than that, game 2 is looking mighty good for them as a steal away from Gromp is strangling the resources from Fnatic this time around.
And the fact this 3.4k gold lead Akali is now facing off against Oscarinin again means that he can just go for the one-shot, continue to keep the pressure up here. And look at Elyoya. He's just like, this is my bush. I ult mid if I need to. I ult on bot if I need to. But I'm protecting everywhere that could potentially be a threat as we just continue to play off of 2 lanes as MKOI.
Lucky for Oscar, there's only 2 minions here, so there's not much threat from Movistar KOI finding a dive. 4 members in total with Myrwn in his lane. Are just hovering between mid and bot for the time being. Jojo playing the weak side, just absorbing what he can in that top lane. And Baron's now up. Dragons a far cry away from being in conversation again. And MKOI, they're getting their vision round top now. They're rotating. And it's Fnatic who are going to have to move into that fog of war in a danger zone versus an Akali, Yone, Alistar.
But that's exactly it. Fnatic are terrified of this Akali. 3 members all grouped up just to try and take back the vision on the bottom side when MKOI are establishing everything on this top half of the map. Myrwn, like, just disappearing into fog of war is creating panic stations on the Fnatic side.
It feels like Miky's just going to have to use clone at every cooldown to find something. Myrwn is going to go to bot. He's going to go for the wave. This is 3 versus 1. How does he get out of this one? The grand escape begins. Oscarinin doesn't get the snap. Sure, can flip away. Golden Razork flash for that. Redemption's coming down as well. Myrwn holds these out of the side, but it's perfectly done from Razork. And a shutdown over to Upset for 800.
Fnatic found their moment, but how far they want to take it. Miky's actually trying to corral the members of MKOI who are in towards the mid lane, but Fnatic happy to get the pick, alleviate some pressure on the map. But it's a moment to breathe. You still have to worry about this next dragon in minute 45.
And the raid boss took 3 ultis with him as well. So Myrwn might die, but he has TP. And his ulti, the cooldown's really not long as well.
The saving grace for Fnatic is that it was the Seeker's Arm Guard that was burnt. It's not as obvious.
True.
So if you actually can't get that extra gold for Myrwn, that could be very valuable for this upcoming fight where you don't have that safety net available. And I think that's maybe what Fnatic were hoping for in this one, to try and burn that. But we'll have to see as we start to move in. Like, it's only a minute left, and there's unless the Darkseal Doran and more gold manage to make their way in, I just don't see him completing that item.
I think it's Far Cry at this point, isn't it? Fnatic, they're still trying to get themselves a push in topside. That will equal more vision towards this river.
So it's 450, and then you can sell the Darkseal as well. So maybe a wave or 2, and then the TP. Okay. So maybe you can actually finish this Zhonya's before the next fight.
Okay. I'm just wondering when the next fight, I mean, it should be Dragon, right? 45 seconds. I will note as well, Supa just picked up his Immortal Shield Bow, so with Infinity Edge and Yuntao, Supa has just scaled massively. And the beautiful thing, because Tristana Q, you don't need attack speed items. You just need raw damage to send out. Alvaro caught out, flushes, turns it into something magical. Upset ulti straight away with a redemption. Elyoya flashing in. It turns into an MKOI masterclass. Mikyx with a pop blossom on 3, but is it enough? The ult, the fate, sealed fate's nothing, but still a knockup comes in afterwards. Oscar lucky to be alive until the spear pierces the heart of Fnatic faithful.
MKOI find the comeback. A second, Fnatic try to find that pick on top of her. He's like, great, I'll take it. Booting upset into the middle of the team. And no matter how much he tries to escape, there's just too many members of the Avengers who are there to smite him down.
It's just a good thing turned south. Fnatic thought they had the pick as Dragon number 3 will lead to Seoul. 5,000, it's growing as Poby's walking down. This could be his funeral though. The Korean import with his first split is going to get a taste of a Spaniard from hell. A 1v2, he comes close. Elyoya holds these in just in case.
It's a disaster for Fnatic, but MKOI are playing this fantastically. Jojo is out.
He's fine. He's going to queue this. The TP burned, and I think Fnatic are just trying to grasp at whatever straw they can sip through.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to like quickly force a Baron or something, but MKOI now on mid wave, zoning out everyone on Fnatic. Mikyx trying to get in behind them. The ultimate's nearly there.
Good poke from Mikyx. Alvaro's already popped the ulti. Razork thinking about going in. He has the cease and desist up and available. Upsets coming in to pincer them, to choke them, but Myrwn on the way. Fnatic are not going to commit to this. It's just too dangerous with an Akali nearby.
And the ultimate will back up for Myrwn as well. A super short cooldown on that, so they're just going to try and back away. Fnatic trying to play off the fog of war here.
Razork's trying with a Vault Breaker, but meanwhile Myrwn gets bot turret, so it's already a big win for Movistar KOI again. Fnatic moving towards this Baron, but Elyoya just stands and he's waiting. He doesn't care as Mikyx has disguised himself. But remember, Poby's on bot. He might have TP. He's going to TP now, but they're going to throw everything at this Baron for Fnatic.
It's just Yeetus hope for the best, but the push from MKOI coming through. Myrwn still hasn't reset, doesn't have that Zhonya's Zera glass.
He does not. Pop Blossom comes in though, only onto Elyoya, the jungler. Picked off, no, not yet, he bought time, and Jojo slapped Fnatic together. Supa will help clean it up, but just when you think you caught MKOI, they bring you back in.
It was desperation from Fnatic, and MKOI snuffed it out. There was no hope. MKOI knew that they had the damage that they needed, and now it's a slow march down the mid lane.
It seems like this one is done in the too hard basket. It seems like for Fnatic, the picks are pure desperation. The death time is large, and a series we wanted a best of 5 to deliver. Dagda, I think we are getting an early Christmas present here with MKOI versus Fnatic.
MKOI catching Fnatic out over and over, and what was an Oscarinin praise has turned into Myrwn styling on him in game number 2.
Glory be the top laners. What else you got? Because this is getting interesting. The Nexus will still fall as MKOI take a couple of kills to boot.
Absolutely insane performance from MKOI, and Myrwn bringing out the counterpick Akali and making it look fantastic.